What's up, degenerates? Bank holiday Monday, we don't mind. Still here grinding away, trying to dig out a few selections for ye. Hope you're all well. Hope you're not going too hard on the weekend. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of the few bets over Cheltenham and Galway and the bit of crack we had as well with all the lads. Right, before I go into today, let's recap yesterday. Excuse me, I had one very frustrating selection on YouTube. Fanny and Destraval, very, very nicely handicapped horse returning. Really liked them, and unfortunately, just this happens a lot. It's very frustrating. I don't like giving out about jockeys or trainers or anything like that, but it happens a lot with this horse. This horse likes to. They tried to be handy on him yesterday, and he just missed the first, and then it put him out of the race. But he always loved this horse. Gets away with this every time he runs. They just let him be uncompetitive 3/4 of the way through the race or halfway through the race. But he's a very nicely handicapped horse. He's tailed off coming out of the back straight. Not making any effort to close down the race, and then all of a sudden he makes up 100 lengths in the home straight. Flies home to finish fourth, so he's definitely a horse I want to keep on my side. I'm sure I knew that before the race. I didn't need to know that after the race. But he's a really nicely handicapped horse. However, I think it's time now to be more intelligent with, this horse deserves an aggressive ride at some stage in his career. So I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to keep letting him become uncompetitive halfway through the races or what. But I think rather than as a constructive criticism, rather than trying to ride this horse, putting him on his head handy, I think maybe they should give him a chance mid-div and then put all the aggression on him mid-race to keep him in his race. Because I think the minute he gets a controlled aggressive ride, not a reckless aggressive ride, I think the minute this Fanny and Destraval gets controlled aggression in his races, I think we'll see him win a couple of races. I think he's a good horse, but he does like to idle and jump out to his right mid-race. He gets a bit leery and lazy, and that's all it is, because he's a good horse. But anyway, frustrating, but a horse to follow. And like I said, I'd like to see him get that more aggressive ride mid-race, but not chucking him at fences, because he doesn't have the scope for that. It's just more controlled, educated pressure to keep him in a position where he's close enough to strike, and then we'll see this horse win races, So that's it. Look, he's very interesting. I like him, but he's getting very away with being leery too much now. He got away with it a few times last year as well. Anyway, definitely an interesting horse. Then I had one horse on the Patreon service, really annoying. Went for a 5 points win on the John Ryan horse. He's having a brilliant year, the trainer. Horse was running in Galway. I thought he was a very impressive winner of his maiden back today. Obviously didn't run through the summer. Back today, soft ground, which is or back yesterday, soft ground, which he won his maiden on heavy. Looked a really good horse, and everything looked very well from him. But unfortunately, he seemed it was a horrible race from the get-go. They went very slow the whole way, but he seemed to maybe pull up lame after the last hurdle. So obviously whatever niggly problems he's had that kept him off the track before have obviously come back to bite him. So a little bit sick to give back the bookie some money yesterday, but that's the way it is. We're well ahead and we can afford to do it. But like I said, I never like giving the bookies any money. But unfortunately yesterday they have a bit of mine. So try and get it back today, and let's hope we have one selection on the Patreon service today at 16-1. So let's hope that can run well. Right, moving on to today. 3 selections, a little bit in and out with a couple, but because of the big prices, this one's allowing me to tip it up. It's 18-1. We'll come to that in a minute. So the 140 in Leicester, Acklam Gold. Now, this is a tough enough race, but Acklam Gold, Sylvester de Souza takes the ride. It has some okay form. It's been running in some nice races. I see the horse that won again in Wolverhampton the other night. Is it Marco Botti horse, I think. And then the horse that finished 5th, Edge Nebras, or is it saying all these Nebrasses anyway? It's one of them. We'll go with Edge Nebras. She won then in Kempton the other night. So there is like decent form with the runners, like the horse of Marco Botti's now, I think, is 3 from his last 4 that won the race. This lad ran in, and the horse that finished 5th came out and won. So this off America 57 with Sylvester de Souza taking over. I'll go a point each way at 9-2. Acklam Gold, the 140 in Leicester. And then I'm going to move on to the 5 o'clock in Redcar. Now, this is an interesting horse. He nearly done us a very big touch. We had 3 points each way on him at 16-1 one day, and we were just beaten the last day. Was it in Hamilton or Ripon or somewhere like that? I think it could have been Ripon or Hamilton. But Blazing Sun is definitely an interesting runner. He's back from a break. Now, however, he is at the head of the market at 7-2. And I have never, it's an apprentice jockey's race, and I have never heard of the jockey. That doesn't mean it's not a brilliant jockey or anything like that. It's just, I have never heard of the jockey. Which is always risky when you have a young and experienced, but it could be the next Frankie Dettori, so who knows. So we'll go a point win. You know, I would have went stronger if it wasn't an apprentice race maybe, but I like this horse. He's progressive. He's got better with each run. He looked a little green at times. You know, when he was being placed, even I think at Redcar he was placed before. Was it Thirsk or Redcar? Maybe we'll go with Redcar. He was placed before. When he finished 3rd, he was still a little green and waywardy, and we were unlucky the last day. So look, let's hope he's learnt a lot after his break, and Blazing Sun can come back and win for his young jockey getting the 5 off. I'll try and pronounce its name. Is it Gianlanca Sana? I'll go with that. So best of luck to the rider. Definitely an interesting horse, and definitely a horse that has some upside against the handicap. Then I'll go to the last race, the 6:30 in Newcastle, my last tip of the day. Now I'm taking a chance here on a big price horse. He's called Big Boy Harly. This horse is 18-1, and that's kind of more the reason why I'm taking a chance, is because he has been fancied a few times, but it hasn't really worked out for him. Now, he has some okay form. He ran a really nice race on debut. I put him into the notebook on debut, but he kind of got progressively worse since then. Not a lot worse, but just things didn't go his way since. But he does try a new trip, so I'm going to say, right, well, he did look a good horse on debut. He looked a horse on debut that this is a horse we'd like to stay with. He missed the break a bit. He finished off strong, and he finished off strong behind a horse called Bond Chairman. Now, Bond Chairman went on and ran in a lot of good races since. So Big Boy Harley, although was regressive since his debut, he tries a new trip today over 7 furlongs. Now, Keith Dalglish is going very well, and Keith Dalglish seems to always be going very well. He's just a brilliant trainer, and then he wins with any kind of horse, whether it's a bumper horse, a hurdle horse, a chase horse, or a 5 furlong sprint horse. So very, very good trainer. And maybe Keith's just thought, let's step this guy up to 7 furlongs and maybe it'll suit him. Now, on breeding, he's bred to be fast, but let's hope, it can work. At 18-1 off America 74, I'm willing to take a chance. Like, if he was like 6-1, I wouldn't tip him up. But at 18-1, we can definitely take a chance. So let's go a point each way. A Big Boy Harley in the 6:30 to finally maybe step up on what he promised to do early and show that he's not a bad horse, and maybe he can do it tonight on the all-weather. Anyway, that's the 3: Blazing Sun, Acklam Gold, and a Big Boy Harley. Right, stay tuned, lads, because the national hunt season is about to get rolling, and the notes are going into the book strong, and we'll have some really, really nice ones coming soon. Don't worry about that. The time for codding is over.